MMA lovers, it's your girl Shantell with the Victory Room, and we're back to discuss UFC 300. And let's start off with Max Holloway versus Justing Gatheje. I think I speak for all of us when I kid you not, my mouth at the end of the 5 rounds, agape. I'm over here like a fish out of water. I'm watching, I'm like, I couldn't believe what I was seeing. I'm like, surely the fight is over. Surely these men are not trying to throw punches when Max has clearly won the fight. Justin looks as if he's been through a war. Nose is likely broken. Probably can't breathe. Maybe can't see. And they said, you know what? We came here to put on a show and did just that. And when we see Justin literally fall forward, not with us anymore, not in the realm of those that are aware. 1 second left, I had no words. And I still have no words. It was an amazing fight, and just huge shout out to both of those dudes. I mean, absolute studs. And also, before we even get into Max, let's talk about Justin. I mean, this guy, if his nose wasn't broken from that, early kick, then especially after some of the hits he took later on in the fight and during the knockout, I mean, it has to be broken. And for him to get, eye poked twice, he could have easily been like, look, I can't go forward with this fight. I can't see, and, just called it a day. And instead he continued to fight, continued to throw punches. And I just have so much respect for him, especially with this type of fight when he really didn't have to take the fight. And Max, said it himself. He didn't really have too much to gain from this fight. I mean, he was likely in title contention, prior to this fight. And, now that, it's not necessarily the case. I mean, anything can happen in UFC, but it was definitely a fight that could potentially benefit Max, I think, more. And so let's get into Max. Oh my goodness. He came out looking good. He was calm. He was laser focused. I feel like his movement in the ring just looked like he was ready to strike at any moment. And, the first round of the fight, it's always fighters are trying to gauge distance. They're trying to gauge speed. They're trying to gauge strength and power. But Max always looked like he really had a plan, and Justin looked more like he really wanted to sort of figure out how he was going to get past, Max's defense. And so even in the first round, I said, if Justin isn't able to really turn this around, it's looking like, the momentum is really just more so with Max. And that's what we continue to see. I mean, he was posed throughout the fight. There was a lot of conversation, especially from Joe, on, his leg and, everything about it starting to swell and those leg kicks. But from a performance standpoint, he did what he had to do. And, I didn't necessarily see a huge slowdown or impact because of the pain that leg was causing him. He came in, he did what he had to do, and he did it in such a resounding fashion that I'm like, who knows what Max is going to do next? I mean, the possibilities are really endless. And that's what I love about the UFC. Someone who many of us had sort of written off, after the fight he had with Volk. Didn't necessarily see him coming in, to title contention, maybe anytime soon. Or if he did come into title contention, it would be more so because there was really no one else in the division. Of course, you had Brian, who just came back and had that great win. But even Ilya, was very much like, I'm not excited to fight any of these guys. And now with one fight, one great performance, all of us are like, shoot, we want to see what happens next. And I think what I'm seeing for Max is that he's seeming like he's figured something out in his training. I don't know exactly what it is, but it seems like he's figured something out. And I think we've seen folks where a loss is sort of like the beginning of the end. Folks will say that with Tony. But we've also seen for other folks where big losses are the thing that, helps them restart. We see them with Charles. We saw it with Gaethje. a light bulb sort of goes off with them. And I think that's what we're seeing from Max. And so this could be the reintroduction of Max Holloway. And there's so many things that he could potentially do, whether it's fighting Topuria, there's Connor's name being thrown out, potentially, he's interested in fighting Islam. I don't think that's as clear cut as, potentially fighting Topuria, who even after the fight mentioned that like, hey, yeah, this is probably the next guy I'm going to fight. But, just super happy for Max. So much respect to Justin, and really excited for what's to come. But what did you all think? Were you all surprised by this resounding win, this amazing knockout that's going to be added to the history books? Is it what you were expecting? Did you all have Max winning or Justin winning? But so many things to talk about. I'm sure we'll be talking about it for quite some time. But definitely make sure to ring the bell, like, subscribe, comment, and we'll see you back next time.